Well, you guys got yourself in position there, for a chance to win at the end. Just didn't kind of go your way. What was kind of going on there during the course of the game that made it tough on you?
I mean, it was a hard fought game. One of the things that we've been preaching it for a long, long time now, but just defense. We let them get a couple points within the last, 5 or 6 minutes that kind of got them a good lead, and we were, scrapping back, and we couldn't quite get, back in front. I think if we would have got back in front, that would have been good for us. But it was just a hard fought game towards the end there.
Brandon, right at the end, the play was you came up and kind of picked the man off, right?
Yeah, the goal there was to hit him around the half court area, get Trey some free space to get downhill, maybe get to the rim if you can, just get an open shot of some sort. It didn't quite work because they sent another guy from his direction from the other end. But overall, I think the play was there. We just didn't quite execute, I would say.
It looked like they were determined not to let Trey beat him. Like they kind of threw extra guys at him.
I mean, I'm sure they knew where the ball was going towards the end of the game, so they're trying everything to do to get the ball out of his hands, and they defended it pretty well. So, tough shot for him.
How did you guys feel about maybe progress today defensively after the last game?
If we felt better out there on both sides of the ball, like offense and defense, but we still ended up losing, so we got to just execute on defense better at the end and just keep playing and keep improving every game.
Brandon, did it feel like early on the defensive pressure was better for you guys on them, forcing them to take tougher, harder shots? And do you feel like maybe that kind of became less as the game went on, something that you guys maybe want to improve upon?
Yeah, and I feel like it kind of wavered. Even when, we had a good stretch at the start, but then it kind of went back down, back up, back down. So I feel like if we can kind of keep a steady defensive effort, one of the things we needed to do today was pack it in more and try and force them to get deep contested shots. And I don't think we did as well on that as we should have. I feel like if they were to have shot more deep shots, probably would have been in our favor. But they were at us at the rim a lot today, and I think that hurt us big time.
Does it say anything about the fact that in the last game it was close at half, and then the second half was a completely different story? You guys were kind of right there down to the end. I mean, is that kind of a silver lining there for it? I know it's ending in a loss, but the way you guys were able to kind of fight till the end, is that something that you guys are at least happy with?
Right. I mean, we clearly, laid an egg the second half last Friday night, and that's something that we had to make an effort today not to do. We had to come out and play with the same intensity in the first half and the second half, and that's something I think we did today. But like you said, we didn't quite get the win. That's just, at the end of the day, it's still going to be a little sour because we didn't get that win.
If you can, we won't see you guys flipping the page. You got a big one Thursday against Indiana. What's it going to be like? Do you feel like playing in that arena and playing, a high-profile team like that?
It's going to be a great opportunity for us to see how we can bounce back against a Big Ten team. So, this one hurts, but we have to move on and, try to improve. Next game's the most important game, so we got to focus on that and just get over tonight and see if we can come out with a win.
How about you, Brad?
Right, and it's going to be a big crowd. Big Ten school, Indiana's got a very good history and whatnot, and they're a good program right now. So it's going to be a good, fun game. I'm going to enjoy it a lot, and I think it's something we're all looking forward to. Just that environment, that atmosphere we don't typically see. We're about to go into a whole different animal in terms of who we're about to play.
Louisville game last year, any good memories from that, playing a big-time opponent like you did?
Of course, it's good to get that win against the Power 5 team, and it's a good memory. I'm sure we'll all remember for the rest of our lives, and we're hoping to recreate that next game.
Yeah, for me, that's the first win that I was on the floor for. So it's something that I'll always remember.
Okay.
Trey hitting that big shot at the end, just that kind of last, 2 or 3 minute comeback we had was just something I'll always remember. It was just a great experience.
Talk to us just about, it didn't work today, but when Trey, you put your money on Trey anytime at the end of a game, right? Just what a force he is right at the end.
Right, and he's a very clutch player. He has a lot of these last, second skills that not a lot of people have. That's something you just can't necessarily teach. You know what I mean? That's something he's been gifted with, and I always, put my trust in him, when the time comes.
Scott, it looked like you were going with Trey,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they threw an extra guy, it looked like, at him, or two, to kind of make sure he didn't get a really good look.
Yeah, but almost every look for Trey's a good look. I mean, he makes so many off balance. He's such an efficient player. I mean, I would have liked to see him try to get to the hole, maybe get a foul, draw a foul, but it's hard to get those in that situation. And we'll live and die with Trey for sure. We can at least hang our hat on that effort versus what we did the first game. And I thought where we really grew was we were better defensively in the second half, which has been a problem for us. And our kids really, I thought, did a great job. We got stops when we needed to. There at the end, Brandon made a great play. I thought Al was really good defensively. I mean, he was on Maddox most of the game. A couple of his came off the zone from about 25 feet. I liked our zone. I mean, if we forced them into shots we wanted them to take. And, I thought it confused them. They just hit them. I mean, you can't spend a lot of time worrying about that. The first half, was probably the problem. We shot 62%. We were down one because we turned the ball over 10 times. And they only had 14 rebounds at halftime and 10 or more offensive. And so that's why we were down. But I thought our kids, it's two good teams, two good offensive teams, good game to watch. They're used to winning. We're used to winning. They've been good series when we played each other. Todd does a great job. And, I at least, coming in this game, I was so low over, what we did at Colorado State. And I just have so much more confidence in our kids right now after watching that.
Scott, you mentioned it, obviously, defensive effort you were a little bit happier with maybe taking care of the ball, point of emphasis, 25 points off turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big point of emphasis because we did that, at Colorado State. We had 7 what we call just pick sixes where you just turn over and you just go down and shoot a layup. And then, we did it a lot again tonight. And we should have a team that should take great care of the basketball. We've had, we just had way too many turnovers in both games, and it's not like they're, where you throw it away out of bounds. I mean, these are ones where you can't even defend it. And so you take those, if you take those out, I mean, just think about how good defensively our kids play. And so I kept saying that, it looked like, oh, you guys, Colorado State, terrible defensively. No, we were bad offensively is what we were. And it led to just stuff like that, the runouts. Now, we were better, but we still have to take care of the ball. I mean, we're just not, we've got to be tougher with the ball.
Scott, you've been in the past about home games. This is the kind of home game you wanted with a team like Toledo, right?
Yeah. I mean, you hope it's what the fans want to see. The fans were good. You saw a good game. And it hurts what it's supposed to hurt. But if it doesn't hurt, then there's something wrong with you. Mm-hmm. And, our players feel that way. But I think they also, at least don't walk out with their heads down ashamed of because really in the Colorado State game, we embarrassed ourselves. And, and I said, it's not the fact that we did. How are we going to respond to that? And I thought our kids responded really well. And, we had great chances, just, so many good looks and some of them we didn't make. And so you just live with that. You just live with it. Like Al's frustrated, but I'm so proud of Al and the effort he's given us defensively. The shot will go. I'm not worried about him. I mean, he keeps doing that, we'll be fine.
What did you see out of Caden Brown? He looked like a nice player.
He finally, Colorado State game's his first college game, and he looked like he was stuck in mud a little bit. He got going tonight. They're in the first half. One of them was a turnover, but he turned it up, and you can see his speed with the ball, and and I was like, all right, finally KK's here. Let's go, because he can really give us a good push offensively, and he's a good defender. He's strong. He's quick. I was really proud of all our freshmen. I mean, KK played well. I thought Dre played well, and Logan in the first half gave us tremendous minutes. He really competed.
Oh, Coach, I know you're glad to see Tanner back. I'm glad you kind of welcome him back with open arms.
Yeah, and some people have asked about that, why would you take a kid back that left you? And It hurt when he left, but we also got a kid back. I mean, if Tanner left here and he wasn't that kind of kid we love and our kind of player, that'd be one thing. But you get him back. He's got some humbleness to him as he comes back, and he understands it's a different situation than when he left. Because when he left, he was the kind of guy. Now he comes back. I mean, we lean in heavily on Trey, but he I'm trying to see what he did here. Tanner's a super efficient offensive player. He gets to the free throw line a ton. I thought, would they shoot 14 free throws? If you look at their stats coming in the game, they had taken 50 some free throws in 2 games and had only given up 15 in 2 games. And we didn't have a free throw in the first half. I'm like, well, we're on this way again. But we finally got to the free throw line in the second half. And, we did some things we wanted to do. We kept them, they didn't shoot 25 free throws. I just, we can grow. And I feel so much better about this than I did the other night. And it hurts, and now can we get past it? Because in 2 days we're playing Indiana. And so emotionally, can we get past that? And that'll be a question mark for us, a big key, because we'll have to practice them all, get on a bus and leave.
Coach, can you talk about the way AJ Braun played down low for you tonight? It seemed like he
Great.
was a really big factor.
Yeah, he was, he 7 rebounds and he always shoots a high percentage, obviously, because he shoots around the basket. But yeah, I mean, AJ's, I would say of all our players, probably this summer, I've been the most pleased with him in terms of his coachability. I felt like he used to fight me a little on some things and question, and he's not doing that anymore. He's just doing what we're asking him to do. I feel like he's grown a lot as a young man, and that helps him grow as a player because he's trusting us, and he played. That's a lot of minutes for him to play. 31. It's probably the most he's ever played, and we're going to need a lot of minutes out of him this year. It's going to be pretty important for us to keep Brandon and AJ healthy because we don't have much depth inside.
Turning the page a little bit here, Scott, with Indiana, that's a great opportunity for your kids, great arena, just a tradition and all that.
It is, but I guess I'm just looking at it as another game. I mean, it's a game we're trying to win, and they're trying to win. Like, this is not just for show and a neat experience for our kids. I'm not overly interested in that. Like, it's a basketball game that we're trying to win. It'll be interesting to see how our younger kids react to the crowd and those kind of things if they can, because now they just got a couple of college games under the belt, but they haven't seen anything like we'll see on Thursday night. But it's certainly not just so we can give everybody a good experience. I'm not overly interested in that.
Playing Louisville last year, how well that turned out. You have some experience against a big time opponent, big arena, and that whole thing, crowd.
Yeah, I mean, we've done it a lot. We've done it, with the high majors here. I think we had 3 of those wins, and at South Dakota State we did a lot. I mean, and it, I think it's a challenge for schools like that, right? Emotionally to get their kids ready for that, all those kind of things, and we understand that. Like, it's certainly not a game that we'll be overlooking. I mean, our kids emotionally will probably be ready to play, but I think it's just playing 2 nights after what just happened is going to be a challenge for us.
Talk about, you might have said this already, but the way Trey has turned into put the ball in his hands at the end of the game, that started beginning of last year, before that already?
Yeah, I would say even probably the last, maybe 10 games of the year prior. I mean,
Right.
When we went to NCAA tournament, Trey, probably the last 10 games was incredible. I mean, you remember the championship game against Northern Kentucky, we were so bad in the first half, and I think he had 14 points. If it wasn't for him, we'd have been down 25. And we were down 15, I think. But, Trey kind of kept us around, and then he made that shot at the end of that game and did that at Louisville. I mean, the guy goes 9 for 18. I mean, guards generally don't shoot 50%. I mean, he is a highly, highly efficient offensive player. He's a tremendous free throw shooter, he's a tremendous 3-point shooter, and his mid-range game is tough. And we'll live and die with him taking that shot.
And what makes him just so effective?
He just lives in the gym. He loves it. Just loves it. He just loves basketball. He might be over there tonight shooting. I don't know. He's always in there.
Pivoting to Noel real quick, you had him all 40 minutes. Is that going to be the norm considering the lack of depth that you mentioned before? In that position?
I hope we don't have to play him 40 minutes a game. But one thing about Brandon's a great athlete, and that helps. Being athletic helps. And he's a tremendous defender, and so it allows us to put him on a bunch of different people. Like he was on a guard there late in the game, and made that play, and he can guard anybody. And in my opinion, he should be Defensive Player of the Year in the league because he's so versatile defensively. I'd like to see him relax a little more offensively. He's still, he just is still struggling with his confidence, which I don't think he should be at this point, but I can't always control those things. But he played a lot better tonight than he did at Colorado State, and defensively and the rebounding, we need him more than anything.
Scott, have you-
really well on that possession.
Have you found kids, though, are resilient? I know this was emotional, they put their hearts into it. Generally, though, they seem like they bounce back, at least they have, for you.
Yeah, I think they are. We've got some guys that are struggling with some confidence issues. But probably the way I handled it after the game, which is not easy for me to do, but I was about as positive as I could be because I do feel much better about it. And I know we did a lot of things right there, and they just made some plays. Like our zone was good. They just hit a couple crazy shots. We had great shots, and some of them just didn't go in. Like it could have just easily been flipped. So we can't if it's just going to be results based all the time. What I'm pleased with is the progress we made from the last game to this one. And it's hard not to be result based.